process out here?
It's been awesome. It's been awesome. Moved up here end of May, sometime in May, and started working out with the team in June. And just to be back out on the football field with everything that happened last year, wasn't really sure if that was going to happen again. And now that it's happening and the ball's rolling, it's special.
A lot of times you see graduate transfers pick a spot where they know that there's a clear path to the starting job. Here is a little bit more of a competition for you. What was appealing about UCLA that ultimately led you to join the team?
You know, I saw a team that was ready to win, you know, that had a lot of players, playmakers, you know, ready to make plays and win a lot of games, and Coach Kelly has the formula to obviously get that done. In years past, he's proven that. So, you know, there's lots of things appealing about, you know, this school, the program, the degree that I'm going to get. Everything just kind of made sense.
What kind of conversations did you have with him before committing about what the competition would be like?
You know, we just talked about how it's you know, a new staff. Josh, you know, obviously Rosen's gone. He's moved on to the next level, and you know, there's an opportunity here, and you know, I saw that and saw that as a green light, and was excited for that opportunity.
Knowing what his offense was like at Oregon, how did you think you fit into it, and what kind of conversations did you have with him about it?
Yeah, that's obviously been a big question mark for, I'm assuming, a lot of people coming from a pro-style offense at Michigan. But you know, he and I talked a lot about how he ran things with Nick Foles, Sam Bradford, Mark Sanchez, the success he had with those guys that, you know, could move, but obviously they weren't necessarily dual threat. And you know, when I saw the success that they had and the things that he would tweak for those guys, you know, I saw myself doing the same things.
Did he put you in touch with any of them?
In touch with
the quarterbacks he'd had?
I actually trained this winter down in Orange County when I had my 4 or 5 months off, and Mark Sanchez was down there for a good portion of the winter, and he and I trained together, and he would, you know, talk to me about a lot of things, how things operated. And before I made my decision, you know, Mark and I talked a lot about why it made sense, and that helped a lot.
Which quarterback coach did you work with?
I was with Adam Dado, Tom House's guys throughout the whole winter, and up here, you know, still see Steve Clarkson, you know, from years past. So,
how close do you think this offense will look to what Coach Kelly was running at Oregon?
You know, we haven't watched a ton of Oregon film. I remember when I was younger, I saw, I can't remember who his quarterbacks were besides Mariota. Was Mariota with Chip?
Yeah.
You know, besides seeing the flashy uniforms and the highlights on ESPN, I didn't watch a whole lot of those guys, just being on the East Coast and everything. But you know, I know the offense is fast, and that's all I'm really focused on.
How have you been accepted, you think, by the other quarterbacks since you've been here?
It's an awesome room, an incredible room of guys on and off the field. I think we've, you know, all gotten along really well. You know, done things outside the building together, and you know, just a bunch of good dudes, and that's really all you can ask for.
Is it hard to build a camaraderie with guys you're competing against?
No, it's not. You know, I did that for 4 years at Michigan. You know, you had a lot of, I guess, top dogs, top recruits, you know, that wanted to come start at quarterback at Michigan, and you know, every year there was a competition, and whomever won the competition, you know, everyone else had their back, and that seems to be the same way here. You know, I've only been here for a month and a half, 2 months, but you know, everyone's friends. It's awesome.
How did Brett Hundley play a role at all? He's the Steve Clarkson guy too. You talked to him before you committed.
Yeah, right? I think my first visit here to see his spring practice, he was here, and then he and I have, you know, been friends for a long time. So we talked, you know, before I made the decision, and he said it was a no-brainer, and you know, as did Steve. So you know, just with guys that have had success at the position and are familiar with what's going on, you know, for them to back you up, it makes the most sense.
You acclimated to like Southern California lifestyle?
Yeah, it's pretty easy to acclimate to this type of stuff. You know, Ann Arbor's special in you know, May, June, July, August, and then the fall. But the wintertime gets a little brutal. So I'm cool to get used to this.
How've the logistics been of getting reps for so many quarterbacks?
Yeah, obviously there's a lot of guys. You know, I came in and they had, you know, spring ball, 15 practices, but you know, coach has done a good job of making sure everyone gets the right opportunities.
How's your back feeling after that injury?
Yeah, no, back feels great. You know, I really concentrated once I left Michigan and got out here with everyone, with Tom House, just to kind of recreate how I use my body and everything, and saw rehab specialists and trainers and everything. By March, April, I was 100%. My body felt better than it did heading into last season, and that's where I stand right now, so it's awesome.
How are you in terms of shape? I think you had said at one point you were best shape of your life.
Yeah, it was, this winter was just all ball. It was just all training. I got my degree from Michigan, and I was waiting to see where I'd select to come play my last year, so the only thing I had to focus on was eating right, training as hard as I can, and just repeated that every day, and little wins kept stacking up, and it was a successful winter.
What other schools did you consider other than UCLA?
Just looking at LSU, was talking to LSU a lot, Baylor, Wyoming, Washington State, initially Southern Cal. That was back in December, right when I had announced that I was leaving. Talked to them a little bit, but a handful of other schools, but really came down to LSU, Wyoming, and UCLA, and UCLA was the obvious choice.
How did the process of picking a school that you would go to as a grad transfer differ from when you were an 18-year-old kid coming out of high school?
Well, I think if you go through the process for 4 years and you see how things operate at a big-time program firsthand, you kind of have a better idea in terms of when it's time to make a decision and what you're looking for. And at the same time, you don't fall in love with perhaps like the flashiness of a program like you do when you're in high school, because you've had it, and you realize it's just football, and obviously this is my last year. It's my last shot to show what I can do to get to the next level, and that's ultimately what it came down to.
You've been through a bunch of these camps. What do you impart on Dorian as he goes through all this for the first time?
Yeah, I've been talking to him a little, here and there on the side, and obviously the kid's got a lot of talent, and but it's tough to come into a camp as a true freshman. I remember with Coach Hoke at Michigan, it was like drinking out of a fire hose. It's just, there's so much thrown at you. You're expected to run the offense just as a 23-year-old, 22, 21-year-old is when you're 18 years old and running high school plays last year. So, but he's done a great job of adjusting and doing his thing, so it's good.
And changing that diet, are you eating any chicken?
No, I'm staying away from chicken.
Okay, good.
Only steak.
What about pork? Wait. Come back. Just 5, yeah. Unless you want to talk about it.
Hey there.
Dorian.
How you doing?
So,
How are you?
good.